we have your weekend Apple news. Welcome back to the channel. So here we are again. It's going to be the weekend, and what do we do on the weekends here? We go through the Apple news, right? And what do? I go through about around 20 different Apple-related stories. We talk about services, Apple sales, Apple hardware, everything Apple-related, some tech products we throw in there as well. So just sit back and relax on the weekend. Enjoy it with me. Have a beer. Let's get into the Apple news. And here we go with story number one. Here we are, 9 to 5 Mac. It says, these are the new Apple products launching in fall 2024. So what are all the products? All of the Apple products, not just Macs. What are all the products Apple's launching this year before the end of the year? Let's take a look over here. As we scroll down here, let's actually go back up here. It says right here, so we got the iPhone 16 Pro and the Pro Max right here. It's going to have larger displays than ever. 6.3 for the Pro and 6.9 for the Max. Last year was 6.1, 6.7. They're getting bigger. A dedicated hardware button for controlling the camera, and we're going to talk about that later. Stay tuned for that. Camera upgrades, and then an A18 Pro chip right here. So that's what's coming on the actual Pro models of these iPhone 16s. But that's not all. There's tons of other products. Stay with me here. iPhone 16 and 16 Plus right here. It says, unlike the Pro versions, the 16 and 16 Plus will have the same display sizes as last year's models. And then down here it says they could either have the A18 chip for lower end models, or it could actually have the A18 Pro for the high end. So they're not so sure if it could be matching the same chips as the Pro for the first time, or it may have just the A18 versus the A18 Pro. But there you go. Those two are coming out, the iPhone 16 and 16 Plus. And then we're also expecting AirPods. Take a look here, AirPods 4. So Apple's planning to launch not one, but two separate tiers of AirPods 4 models. These two models will provide lower price version and a more premium option. It says both the AirPods 2 and 3 expected to be removed from Apple's lineup. So if you're waiting for AirPods, wait a little bit longer. They're going to be coming, at least two versions of them. And that's not bad, right? But there's a lot more still coming. So let's keep going. Here we go. AirPods Max 2. Finally, we get an update to this. This thing's pretty expensive, though. You got to be a real good audiophile to want this. It says, at long last, AirPods Max are set to receive an update this fall. Hopefully better sound, right? Although they say right here, it'll switch from Lightning to USB-C. I hope that's not the only change. USB-C has got to be the standard now. If it's Lightning, that's crazy. I don't think it's going to be. Obviously, that's going to change. But it's just going to say right here, it's going to have a couple other features exclusive to AirPods 2. It's going to have like adaptive audio, conversation awareness, and personalized audio. So that's going to change as well. And hopefully it's going to have better audio if it's even possible, right? Let's just keep moving. Then we have the Apple Watch Series 10 coming out. Apple's going big with the new Apple Watch Series 10. It's also saying it's going to be slimmer design here as well. So they're going to be slimming down almost all their devices here in the next couple years, which I don't know if I agree with, especially on Macs, but they're doing it. So Apple Watch 10 is coming out later this year. Then we have an Apple Watch Ultra 3 as well. It says Apple Watch Ultra has proven a hit for the company with annual updates offered since 2022. Not much is known about this year's model, except it is going to be updated. So we're going to have the Ultra 3 finally coming out. So if you're waiting for that, that's coming this year as well. And then let's keep going. The M4 MacBook Pros. So iPads, let me actually see here. It says the iPad Pro's exclusive run on Apple M4 chip is coming to an end. This fall, Apple is expected to release the new MacBook Pro models featuring the M4 Pro, M4 Max. Don't expect a major redesign of the computer's form factor. So unlike the Mac Mini, that's not getting a redesign. At least that's what they say. Let's keep going. The iPad Mini 7. This could be a big one for a lot of people. The iPad Mini hasn't been updated since 2021. It's saying basically, let's just see here, expect to see an upgraded display with no more jelly scrolling and a revised chip. So you're going to get a couple little features there. I think on the next iteration of this, you are going to get OLEDs, but not on this one. So keep that in mind if you're going to be buying this. Here we go. The next thing is going to be the 11th gens coming out. This is the cheap iPad, probably going to go for about $350. And I have one sitting right here, the 10th gen, and I always recommend the 10th gen. But with the 11th one creeping right in, just a few months away, if even that, you may want to wait for the 11th gen. It's going to be like this. It says it's going to have an updated chip as well, more powerful chip. But I think it's going to be very, very similar, same design as well. Then we're going to get the M4 Mac Mini with major redesign. So we talked about this. Check out my prior videos. I talked about the redesign coming. At first, I thought it wasn't coming, and then I said it was. But here it is. You're going to see how small that is. This is obviously just a rendering, but it could be something like that. And then here we go. Finally, the M4 iMac as well. This gives me some hope, right? It says Apple's also expected to launch the M4 iMacs again, but it says unlike the new Mac Mini, the iMac isn't expected to receive a design change, which kind of upsets me. We don't know, obviously, why they're doing this. I mean, the M3s just came out with the iMac, so why are they doing the M4s? We hope for a 27 or a 32, but who knows? I mean, we just hope, we pray, but I don't think so, but we'll see if it comes. Then it says some wild cards like Apple TV 4K, HomePod with display and more. But that's going to be the lineup that we know about for sure coming in 2024. That's story number one. All right, we've talked about this one before as well, but look over here. It says iPhone 17 lineup expected to boost sales with slim model, camera upgrades, and more. This is from 9to5Mac. So obviously we know that this thing's going to be called, we think it's going to be called the iPhone Slim, but this is the 17, not the 16. So I'm just letting you know right now what the update is on this, because if you're going to buy the 16th, you may want to skip the 17th, but you may want to wait for this one instead, right? So let's go down here. It says the iPhone 16 may not be that appealing, but look at all these new things coming on the 16. A new rear camera layout, action button coming on the 16 and 16 Plus, the A18 chip with 8 gigs of RAM that's also upgraded, a larger screen, Wi-Fi 7, periscope lens for 5x zoom on the smaller iPhone 16 Pro, new 48 megapixel ultra wide, new button for camera controls. All that's coming on the 16. So you got to say, should I get the 16 or should I wait for that slim 17? So what's going to change on the slim 17? Right here, a fresh design. That's going to be the main thing. So I don't know if it's worth it to you. Upgraded front-facing camera with 24 megapixel sensor, new 48 megapixel periscope lens for even better optical zoom on the 17 Pro models. Basically a narrow dynamic island. So that dynamic island is going to get a lot thinner there. And I guess that's one of the reasons, I guess, aesthetically why you might want to wait for this, but it's not going to do too much, just look better. And then 12 gigs of RAM instead of the 8 or whatever it comes with in the future here. But 12 looks like it's going to be in the 17 Pro models. So that's a lot more RAM. So you guys got to make the decision. Should you wait for the Slim or go with the 16? Post in the comments what you're going to do. I hope everyone's having a good weekend. I always just take a sip when I say that. All right, so again, we do these news on the weekends only. Then on my other videos, I have product displays, and we do a whole bunch of reviews and all training videos. Check out my channel. Now, this next article over here, if you're somebody out there that is deciding on buying, what headphone should I buy? And you're totally confused. I can show you how you can get rid of one of your choices. How do you get rid of one of them to make your choice easier? I'm going to tell you how. You do something like this. Look at here, Apple Insider. Apple collaborates with Kim Kardashian. Oh my God. On limited time Beats Studio Pro. These are her kind of custom colors. It looks like almost like makeup or something, and here she is. So Apple, basically Beats by Dr. Dre, has collaborated with Kim Kardashian for a second time with the Trio limited edition Beats. So this is the Beats Studio Pro, now available for purchase. Here's my underlying factor. I will never buy those because of that lady right there. If you're like me, I don't know why companies do this. You tell me, am I ranting here? I like to go on these rants during my videos, but I mean, I'll never buy a product, especially based on someone I hate like that. So you guys tell me. I mean, I don't care if like if a LeBron James says something, I don't want to buy it. If some other guy like off the street tells me I want to buy it, stop putting movie stars that a lot of people don't like in the videos and or not the videos or to promote their products. Give us an unbiased look at it. Just tell us what's good about the product. This person, I'm never going to buy this because I don't want to give her a cent of my money. You guys tell me, am I crazy thinking this way? I know a lot of people have told me in the past I am, but at the end of the day, that's how I think. I'm never going to buy these, and you shouldn't either. All right, so the next article here says for Mac Rumors, it's how to get macOS Sequoia 15.1 beta with Apple Intelligence so you can start testing it on your Mac. Now, hear me out here. It says Apple has made available the second developer beta for macOS Sequoia 15.1, which includes the ability to test Apple Intelligence features. If you have an Apple Silicon device, Mac, and don't live in China, you are able to try Apple Intelligent features for yourself, even if you're not a developer. Keep reading, it goes on to say, and remember, there's a whole, I'll link to this in the description. So long story short, it tells you have to back up your Mac, and then you go through these steps here, and it tells you exactly how to download the beta version. And even though it's not going to be coming out like in the first iteration of Sequoia, when it launches, you can get this developer version and use all the AI features if you want. And this exactly tells you how to do it. So that's all I wanted to tell you. So it's available. If you want to try it, give it a shot. And I'll have a link here if you want to. I'm not going to go through all that stuff. It's fairly easy to do. But again, I didn't tell you to do it, so back up your stuff and give it a shot. All right, my beloved iMac. I love iMacs. I have one over there as well, and I have one right here. It says right here, AI, Apple Insider. Apple released the iMac 26 years ago, and it's better than ever. You can see it right here. Now, it's arguably better than ever, right? Because we don't have the RAM we can upgrade, and we only have a 24 versus the 27. The 27 was really what we need for it to be better than ever, let's be honest. But it's really funny. So the thing I just wanted to point out here is 26 years ago this thing came out. And let's just see here. It says, I guess that was 1998, somewhere in that range. But all the way down here, I just want to scroll all the way. I'm not going to go through all this stuff. I mean, this is all just garbage here. But here it says right here, the first iMac was priced at $12.99. For that, you get a G3 233 megahertz processor, 15-inch display, and wrapped in a very distinctive box. You can see it right there. way back 26 years ago, the cost never changed since today. You can get a brand new iMac today, the base model, $1299. Back then, it was $1299. It says it was $2,500 in 2024 money. So you can see that Apple's actually getting cheaper somehow, even though it seems so expensive. I mean, people were crazy to spend that much back then. I'm thinking $1299 back in 1998 is a crazy amount of money. But now, I think it's still expensive, and it's exactly the same cost right now in 2024, which is kind of nuts to me. Okay, so we have a couple good sales now. I'd like to show sales in these videos as well. Here's one, and I'll have a link to it in the description as well. Here's one on Amazon right now, and I've talked about these before, but this is probably my kind of sleeper. If you want to get a good Mac here, 15-inch Mac, M3 chip, 16 gigs of RAM, 512 gigabyte SSD, both upgraded, $1449, 15% off, usually $1699. Now, I recommend this. So like if you were going to buy a base model and the M4 is coming out versus something like this, the extra RAM and the extra SSD with the speed there is going to make this, I think, a faster machine, a better machine for long-term stuff. Now, we don't know 100% because the M4s haven't come out, but you can't go wrong with this. This is really a good machine for, I can't say it's for the money, but for what you can get a Mac for, it's pretty good, and I have to recommend that because I actually have a M2 version sitting over there. So with that exact same spec, except it's M2. And it does everything. So the next one here I always recommend, this is the other one that's really good. So instead of buying like a brand new M4 base model, I'd recommend this one. This is the MacBook Air M3 chip. And this is going to be 13-inch only, not the 15, but the 13, 16 gigs, 512, $1249 right now on Amazon, so 17% off right now, $1249. So obviously when the new Mac ship with the M4s, they're either going to be $1099, $1199, and then you got to add on like $400 to get this stuff, $400 more dollars. Well, we'll see. We don't know what Apple's doing yet. They might give you more RAM to start. If that's the case, then this won't be such a good deal, right? So you may want to wait anyway, but I think this is a good deal. You won't be disappointed with this for sure. I can guarantee you that if you want a good powerhouse and a small system there. And let's just keep moving. So the next one here, I thought this was a great deal from Best Buy. You guys tell me, if you're a power user and like you do video editing and stuff, and this is your main computer, look at this. Apple MacBook Pro 16-inch. So 16-inch, you're going to not travel too much with it. M3 Max, MAX chip right there. 36 gigs of RAM and a 1 terabyte SSD. Those are upgrades. $29.99, $500 off right now. So usually $3,500. Now it's $29.99. You can't go wrong with that. Only if you need that power though. The Pro chip's going to be good enough for 90% of the people out there. But if you want the Max, you need the Max and you need that space and that bandwidth. I mean, if you can find this deal, I mean, obviously this deal, you get the extra Max chip kind of thrown in for free there. It's not bad for it's still a lot of money, trust me. $3,000. But if you're making money back, it's not too bad. And then just to wrap up these first round of deals here, just wanted to kind of point this out over here. B&H is having a big sale, outstanding Apple deals right now, so you can go ahead and take a look at them. I'm not affiliated with them in any way, but if you scroll in through here, you can see that they have all their stuff on sale, $300 off, 14-inch, $200 off this one, the AirPods are $30 off, you name it. Even like the AirTags are $10 off instantly. There's a whole bunch of sales going on, so just check out B&H right now. They're actually, doing really well with the sales, and they're comparable to Amazon, but they have a couple ones in there that are maybe better. All right, so I know this is kind of iMac theme. It shouldn't be. I don't know why I keep doing this to myself. But over here, Mac Rumors, it says, Apple still developing bigger iMac with over 30-inch display. Apple still working on a larger iMac with a 30-inch display. At least that's what this article says. I'm crossing my fingers. And then let me just scroll down here. It says, now Bloomberg reporter Mark Gurman, here he goes again, has offered a ray of hope for fans of a larger model. A larger iMac remains something Apple is exploring, he wrote in his latest weekly update. However, Gurman says it is unclear if the device will use Apple's M4 processor. Apple plans to update its 24-inch Max to M4 this year. What the article says basically is he's convinced that they're working on something. He doesn't know if it's going to ever come out, but he's also convinced it may or may. He's not sure it's going to come out on the M4. It could be the M5 or later. So you got to take some hope with whatever it is, right? I mean, like you said, you got to do what you can do to kind of keep hope there. I know a lot of people don't buy them and they don't care, but I love them. So I want the 27 or the 32. The problem with the 32 though is they have to put in like a 6K screen in it. And it's going to get way too expensive. I'd rather just have the 27. That's just what Apple has to do. If they go up to that size, they have to have a certain resolution, and it causes a whole bunch of problems for money. All right, so the next one's kind of cool. Right over here, 9 to 5 Mac, it says, here's what developers can do with the new NFC API for iPhone and iOS 18.1. You can see it right here. So basically, Apple announced on Wednesday that it'll open up iPhone's NFC chip to third-party apps. That's the important part right there. So what does this mean for the average user? Well, now with the different apps and stuff, it says all of these things can be supported by the new API now. Payments, car keys, like if you have a car with your phone, home keys, hotel keys, transit cards, corporate badges, student IDs, merchant loyalty reward cards, tickets, government IDs. It opens up a whole other thing with these third parties. It does say Apple. It takes advantage of iPhone's secure enclave to ensure all the data is managed privately. In addition, users will have the option of choosing the default NFC app. It says Apple also will vet everyone that's going to be using it from the third party as well. So it should be fairly safe. Let's just be honest. But it seems like it's coming and it's going to be a good thing. All right, so earlier we talked about that new button on the iPhone 16. What is it? It's kind of for the camera. Take a look. Mac Rumors. It says the iPhone 16 is getting a new button. Here's what it can do. Multiple rumors have suggested that the iPhone 16 models are going to have an all-new button that's designed to make it easier to capture photos when the device is held landscape mode. Landscape, not a landscape, landscape mode. And it says, so when you press, basically this is what the button can do. Press and hold the button to autofocus while capturing an image or video. Lightly press it, to autofocus. Press harder on the button to take the photo. Swipe left and right on the button to zoom in and out. And then there's also a gesture for switching between photo and video mode, similar to how you can capture a video when you press and swipe the iPhone camera app. So that little button's going to have a lot of kind of sensors on it. It's going to do all of that stuff, which is kind of cool. All right, so for the next one, hold on one sec. These are more like cool graphs I can show you. Just kind of cool information, right? 9to5Mac, it says, here's the most popular Apple Watches in 2024. So here's the article from 9to5Mac. We're going to scroll down. Here's this graph I always show you from, it's called the Consumer Intelligence Research Partners. They always put out a lot of cool graphs here. This says basically 43% are on Series 9. Series 8 is 19%. The SE is only 12% of the users. The Nike Apple Watch, only 5%. And then the Ultra 2 and the Ultra make up 20%, 11% for the 2 and 9% for the Ultra. I added all this up and it was like 99%. What about all the earlier versions? That's why this graph doesn't make a lot of sense. I mean, I'm sure people are like on the Series 7, 6, and all that stuff. Maybe this was like in the last year or something, but it still kind of gives you a breakdown of what people actually have. And it's kind of shocking because like I would guess that the SE would have a lot more users than the Ultras, but the Ultras have a lot more users than the SE when you combine both of them. Kind of crazy. Just some information to kind of keep on the back burner. All right, so now we got a couple more sales. This sale is back, and it's a sale you want to pick up if you actually are thinking about this because it's not going to probably get any cheaper. Right over here, the Apple Studio Display on Amazon right now, $12.99. It's 19% off, usually $300 off basically. It's usually $15.99, $1,600. $12.99, great display, 5K. And now when you're waiting on this little iMac, if it came out with the 27-inch and you bought this, you might be really upset, but it's a great monitor. You got to pick this one up, although it is only 60 hertz. A lot of people complain about that. Just wanted to note that sale. And then moving down, $15.99 is right here. So this is the same exact monitor, Apple Studio Display, standard glass, tilt. This comes with a tilt and height adjustable stand, $15.99. So not that I condone paying another, $300 for a stand, but this one's on sale as well if you actually are thinking about doing that. And I don't recommend paying any money for a stand. It's ridiculous, all right? But if you want to, that one's on sale. That one comes with the additional stand as well. So still $1,600. Wow. But if you're like me and you want to save a ton of money, although I'd probably get the Studio Display, but you still want to save a ton of money, here we go. This one's on sale as well. Samsung Viewfinity S9 series, 5K monitor, still on sale right now. $849, 47% off. Geez, $15.99 usually. That's a great, I can't say it's a great monitor per se because it's a good monitor, but it's 5K. It's one of the few ones you can get. And $849 is one of the cheapest ones you can get as well, or maybe the cheapest. So $849 versus $12.99. It's getting closer now with that Apple sale, but that still comes out to between $400 and $500, whatever difference. So you guys got to make up your own decision. All right, this next article I just thought was kind of interesting. It says Apple Insider, India says Apple is the fastest growing firm in the country over the last 50 years. Can you imagine this? So it says officials in India say that Apple has made a 20-fold increase in its local operations, including iPhone production, making it both the fastest growing and also become the first that because of moving work from China. So long story short is it's like the biggest growing company in all of India, which is crazy because India is this giant 1.4 billion people country, and Apple just moved in just a little while ago. But they're starting to move things out of China, as you can see, and it's now become the biggest, one of the biggest firms, whatever that means, and India in the last 50 years. So, and they're only going to get way, way bigger. So I guess, Apple has to weigh, is China more stable or is India? And right now, I guess they're picking India, right? And they're also going to Vietnam and some other places as well. But they need cheap labor. Unfortunately, that's where they're going. So we'll see what happens here. Let's keep moving here. The next article here. So this is kind of cool. Now, I'm actually a soccer fan, football, actually, in Europe, right? But I played soccer my whole life. This is kind of interesting. Dozens of iPhones will be used to detect offside rule breaches in soccer matches, 9 to 5 Mac. So I don't know if you know about, most people probably hate soccer, but I love it. But anyways, there's an offside rule, obviously. So if the guy that's on offense here, if the ball gets kicked and he's before the defensive guy, like he's stepped over the defensive guy before the ball's in the air, it's called offsides. They had a hard time of actually calling that on the field. They had all these weird kind of cameras, but Apple found a way to do it. It says right here, Dragon, according to this company, will initially use at least 28 iPhone cameras at every stadium in the Premier League. The system uses the built-in cameras on the iPhone 14 models or newer. The iPhones are housed in a custom waterproof case, adorned in cooling fans, and are connected to a power source. It says once the iPhones are positioned around the pitch, together they capture a constant stream of video from multiple angles. This wealth of visuals apparently gives Dragon the ability to track between 7,000 and 10,000 points of each player at all times. And it also says that, basically, high frame rate shooting is key, as the critical moment of play basically can fall in between 2 frames when the video is shot at 50 frames per second. The iPhone system, in contrast, can capture up to 200. It says basically that it puts like 4 iPhones in this box and they kind of position them around the field, and then they can tell exactly when someone's offsides, and it can do it instantaneously, like within like less than 5 or 10 seconds. Now, if you watch any type of sports, they have to go off the field. People have to call in. It takes 2 or 3 minutes, and everyone gets kind of upset. This is going to fix it, and believe it or not, it's done with a simple iPhone. All right, this is some cool information if you're kind of used to be on Google Photos and you want to get over to iPhotos. Just some information, right, to have out there. Right here, Apple Insider. How to seamlessly switch from Google Photos to iCloud Photos. So it says Apple and Google have announced a new tool to import photos from Google Photos to iCloud Photos on Apple platforms. It says it's a collaboration between the nonprofit, whatever, and it says both are the result of Apple, Google, and Meta working together. Think of that. They're actually working together for once, right? So long story short, I can have a link to this as well, but it's on Apple Insider. Check them out. It says go to the Google's Photos Takeout Transfer page on Google Photos, click Continue, and follow the instructions provided. Select Apple iCloud Photos as the destination. Sign into your Apple account, and if you're not already, and then click on the Allow and Authorize Sharing. It says it'll transfer all of your photos from Google Photos over to Apple then, and it says it maintains the photos inside of Google Photos until you delete them also. But you can sync them up, not sync them up, but you basically transfer everything over to your Apple. And then if you wanted to get rid of Google Photos, you could do that. Who knows? I don't know if it's useful, but it's something if you have a phone where before you had a lot of photos going in there, now you can transfer them over. Okay, we're in the part of the video where I have to take a sip because these are the kind of articles that just make me crazy. But it's almost too late for us, right? Let's take a look. It says right here, 95 Mac, massive data leak may include the personal data of every person in the US, UK, and Canada. Imagine this. A massive data leak of some 2.7 billion records may include sensitive personal data for every person in the UK and Canada and the US. So for the US, the data includes social security numbers. Think about this. So it's saying the data leaked consists of 2 files totaling 277 gigabytes containing nearly 2.7 plain text records, rather than the original 2.9 billion number shared, whatever it is. Long story short, this company is saying it's being sold already. The information's already been sold. It's got everyone's social security number. It says it also includes possibly their home address and possibly an email and stuff like that. So, in the complications of this is now they can maybe take out loans in your name and do all this crazy stuff. So this is nuts, right? So here we are always trying to protect ourselves with all the security, and we always put our trust in companies and all this stuff. And then they go ahead and do this to us. It just keeps happening. But this is kind of the mother lode of all. Once your security number's gone and social security number and all this other information, what else is left, right? So I don't know. Maybe now you got to sign up with one of the companies that tries to protect your data. If they see something, but I'm sure they'll get stolen from, and it just goes on and on and on. So I don't know what to do. Using an Apple computer is step number 1, at least for your home personal stuff. At least it's a step in the right direction. Okay, quick one here. Apple Insider, new AirPods Pro firmware beta brings head shaking and improved noise isolation. You can see the picture right here. Let's just scroll down here. It says, this release contains features Apple announced during WWDC, including the new head shaking yes or no for replying to Siri. So basically with the new update, you can actually go like this or go like this, and then you can reply to Siri without actually Siri seeing you. It's just going to know that it's moving on your head. And so you don't have to say something out loud. And then basically the improved noise isolation and personalized spatial audio for gaming are also present. So it's coming out with those different changes there for all it's worth with the basically new AirPods Pro firmware beta. So if you want to check that out, download that beta, you can check that out. Okay, so for these next couple ones, we got a couple more sales here. And I always tell people, make sure you know what you're getting and do your own research. I'm just showing you what's on sale. I try to help people save money here. So here's number one. This is the Apple iPad Pro 11-inch M4 version. I think it's got the upgraded, it's up to 512 gigabytes on it and Wi-Fi here. It's only 8% off, but still, it's usually $1,100 or $1,200. Now it's like $1,100, $10.99. 8% off right now on Amazon. So it just came out. It's one of the better deals. I had to put it up here. Let's just see what we have next here. The Apple iPad Pro, again, this is the 11-inch now, the M4, built for Apple Intelligence, obviously. The 256 gigabyte version here with Wi-Fi, usually $9.99. Now it's $8.99, so 10% off. You still get $100 off there. That's pretty good, right? So just came out, $100. I'll take it, right? Save some on the taxes as well. Can't go wrong there. And let's just see what we have here for the last story. Okay, so for the last story, if you're thinking about getting the Apple Card, like little credit card stuff, it won another award here. Here's Apple Insider. Apple Card is still the best in customer satisfaction category for 4 straight years. So it says the 4th straight year running, Apple Card has managed to snag the best customer satisfaction among co-branded credit cards for whatever that means. And JD Power said it, and whatever that means, right? So who knows, right? But overall, it says it has many features that make it stand out against the competitors. Apple says that the credit card was built for its users' financial health in mind. Thanks to a deep integration to the Wallet app, users can keep track of their spending at a glance. It also has 0 card fees. So overall, just check it out. I think, who knows? They won another award, right? It has to be fairly good. I don't have one. Do you have one? I don't need another credit card either, so I'm not going to get it. But tell me if you think it's good. If you guys use it, post in the comments. All right, we're going to wrap up this week. Again, I hope everyone's having a good one. I only did 2 videos this week. Now, I usually do 3 to 4 sometimes. I had some issues. I had to bring my car and do a bunch of stuff, so got a little busy. But we'll have a couple more coming up probably on Monday, Wednesday, Friday of next week. So definitely subscribe. I make videos all the time, and I love to make them for you. We'll talk to you in the next one. Peace.